Hello everyone. Welcome to Podcast Buddhism, the best channel for sharing knowledge about Buddhism. Today, we will talk about the topic, the foundational teachings and unique practices of Zen Buddhism. Let's dive into the principles that guide Zen practitioners on their path to enlightenment and explore how these ancient wisdoms can be applied in our modern lives. Zen Buddhism, Patriarchal Zen, the supreme vehicle Zen. Since ancient times, Chinese Buddhism has classified those who practice dedicated meditation as Zen practitioners, encompassing both the Tiantai and Sanlin schools, not necessarily limited to the Dhammo, Bodhidharma school. However, from the Tang dynasty onwards, the Dhammo school became more prominent, and the term Zen shifted to specifically denote the Dhammo school. The history of Zen Buddhism has gone through two phases in its lineage transmission. 1. The initial phase, from Patriarch Mahakashyapa to Patriarch Bodhidharma, the 28th patriarch in the Indian Zen lineage. It is challenging to determine the origins of Indian Zen history because Indian Buddhist history does not mention the transmission lineage of the 28 Zen patriarchs. Notably, there is no special mention of Patriarch Bodhidharma in Indian Buddhism. Another reason is that the Dharma transmission verses from Buddha Shakyamuni to the 28th patriarch cannot be found in their original Pali or Sanskrit texts for comparison. Additionally, the literary style of these verses follows the Chinese Zen tradition and likely emerged after the 6th patriarch Huineng, with many scholars attributing them to Shen Hui, a disciple of the 6th patriarch. Some of the oldest Chinese Zen history records, such as the recorded sayings, collections of Dharma talks by Zen masters noted by their disciples, or transmission records, were compiled during the Tang dynasty, about 1200 years after Buddha's parinirvana. It was not until the Song dynasty, from the Jingde era, 1004, to the Jiatai era, 1204, around 1700 years after Buddha's parinirvana, that texts like the Jingde record of the transmission of the lamp by Dao Yuan and the expanded record of the transmission of the lamp by Li Shinshu were composed. These texts often borrowed real-life renowned Zen monks and added fictional elements to convey Zen teachings rather than accurately depicting historical events. For instance, when Buddha was about to enter nirvana, he passed on his robe and bowl to Mahakashyapa with the following Dharma transmission verse. All dharmas are originally no dharma. No dharma is also dharma. Now transmitting the no dharma is the dharma. The story of the Buddha holding a flower and smiling may be a legend, but its meaning is profound. The phrase, all dharmas are originally no dharma, means that all dharmas have their true nature, not merely conceptual forms. For example, in the world, there is only one form of physical matter, the four great elements, earth, water, wind, and fire. However, humans perceive this one form with a discriminating mind, seeing houses, cars, etc. Hence, we perceive dharmas based on our concepts rather than their true nature, which is as they truly are. Another example is when we see a flower, we think we are seeing a flower, but the name flower is given by us, and it is not inherently a flower. The true essence of the flower is a combination of earth, water, wind, and fire through countless conditions coming together to form a shape, and we name this shape a flower. Thus, in the flower, there is water, but we do not see rain falling as flowers. The flower contains sunlight, but sunlight does not fall as flowers. The flower contains fertilizer, but there are no flowers in bags of fertilizer. Therefore, the true nature of the flower is emptiness, because the flower is a result of countless conditions and does not exist or sustain itself independently. Thus, Zen's view is that all phenomena in the world are inherently empty because they lack an inherent self, meaning they are non-self. The non-self of Mahayana Buddhism in general, and Zen in particular, is the intuitive knowing, while the non-self of the four foundations of mindfulness meditation is the direct, clear knowing from the experience of the whole body and mind in true mindfulness and awareness. The phrase now transmitting the no dharma is the dharma, illustrates the meaning of the Buddha holding a flower and smiling, because the flower in its true nature is, not is thought to be. This means seeing directly with the seeing nature, not through the discriminating thinking of consciousness. Transmitting the no dharma means transmitting the empty dharma. The empty Dharma means the Dharma that has never existed conceptually, because once a conceptual Dharma is formed, it becomes an existent Dharma. Therefore, Zen emphasizes true nature as the true intuitive knowing, free from conceptual interpretations, which in Theravada meditation is called seeing and knowing things as they truly are, in true mindfulness and awareness. The second phase, from Patriarch Bodhidharma to the sixth Patriarch Huineng. In Chinese Zen, the lineage from Patriarch Bodhidharma was passed down to Huike, then to Senkan, who transmitted it to Daoxin. Under Daoxin, two notable figures emerged, Hongren and Furong. From Furong came Jian, Huifang, and Fashi. Hongren transmitted it to Huineng. At this point, Chinese Zen Buddhism split into two branches. The Northern Zen, led by Hongren's most outstanding disciple Shenshu, which took Chang'an and Luoyang as its centers and flourished for about 100 years, and the Southern Zen, led by Huineng, who resided at Kaohsi in Guangdong province, thus forming the Southern School. The styles of the Northern and Southern schools differed, leading to the saying, Southern sudden enlightenment, Northern gradual enlightenment. Huineng had more than 40 disciples who taught the Dharma, the most famous being Nanyue Huairong, Qingyuan Xingxi, Nanyang Huizhong, Yongjia Xuanjue, and Heza Shenhui. Shenhui founded the Heza school, vigorously advocating the method of sudden enlightenment, emphasizing one thought not arising as the essence of sitting and clearly seeing one's true nature as the essence of Zen. Huairong, who received the mind seal from the sixth patriarch, presided over Prajna Monastery and had 9 Dharma-preaching disciples, the foremost being Mazu Daoyi. From there emerged 5 other branches: Qishan Lingyou, founder of the Guiyang school; Huangbo Xiun, founder of the Linji school; Faiyan Wenyi, founder of the Faiyan school; Yunmen Wenyan, founder of the Yunmen school; and Lianji, founder of the Caodong school. Although the Patriarchal Zen has many schools and different meditation practices, they all share the common goal of seeing one's nature. While Zen Buddhism recognizes 33 patriarchs, Bodhidharma is especially revered for giving Zen its distinctive characteristics. However, it was the sixth patriarch Huineng who brought Zen to its zenith, and the system of sudden enlightenment was later transmitted to neighboring countries such as Korea, Japan, and Vietnam. As Zen began to flourish in China, it became known as Patriarchal Zen, meaning the Zen lineage originating from the patriarchs. Consequently, the Chinese also called it the Supreme Vehicle Zen, the highest Zen in the world. The formation of Mahayana Buddhism went through many stages, absorbing different philosophical currents from various patriarchs. For example, in the early Mahayana period, there was the concept of all phenomena are essentially empty, leading to the formation of the Madhyamaka, Prajnaparamita, school by Nagarjuna and his disciple Aryadeva. When the doctrine of the Middle Way emerged, the concept of two truths became a standard in many different Mahayana theories. Before adopting Nagarjuna's Madhyamaka philosophy, the Chinese did not understand the differences between the Theravada and Mahayana traditions. Nagarjuna introduced Madhyamaka into Mahayana Buddhism, creating a clear distinction between the two doctrines, likely causing a rift within the Chinese Buddhist community. Mahayana scriptures unhesitatingly criticized Theravada teachings, even using terms like withered seeds to refer to arahats who did not aspire to Mahayana. Nagarjuna's thought developed the Prajnaparamita wisdom to realize the true emptiness, which transcends language and literature, apprehended only through one's true mind. Nagarjuna asserted that although truth has 2 levels, conventional and ultimate, only the ultimate reality is the highest truth. This is the realm of the unborn, undying, unchanging, eternally being, as it always is, where there is no distinction between birth and death, or between samsara and nirvana. In the Madhyamaka Karika, Nagarjuna's truth of emptiness is widely applied through the dialectic of 8 negations: neither arising nor ceasing, neither permanent nor impermanent, neither identical nor different, neither coming nor going. Consequently, Mahayana practitioners mistakenly believe that the conventional truth, Theravada teachings, that Buddha taught to sentient beings is incomplete, because Theravada practitioners have not realized the transcendent wisdom of Prajnaparamita, despite Nagarjuna emerging nearly 800 years after Buddha. Fundamentally, the Prajnaparamita doctrine focuses on the 2 truths, conventional and ultimate. To recall, Emperor Liang Wu of the Liang dynasty, who wore monastic robes, taught the light-emitting Prajnaparamita Sutra, built temples and ordained monks, was revered as a ruler with a Buddhist heart. The emperor, along with Master Lu Yu, discussed the ultimate and conventional truths. The conventional truth elucidates the not empty, things not being non-existent, while the ultimate truth elucidates the not existent, things not being existent. Ultimately, the conventional and ultimate truths are not two, meaning the supreme meaning of the noble truth. According to the emperor, this is the most profound and mysterious aspect of the teachings. However, due to delusion, the true arises. So true and deluded are two interdependent and inseparable categories, but the true nature is eternally unchanging, known but inexpressible. Thus, when Patriarch Bodhidharma met Emperor Liang Wu, the emperor self-satisfiedly asked the patriarch, "What is the supreme noble truth?" The patriarch replied, "Empty and clear, without sates," meaning absolutely empty and clear, without any saintly essence. How can truth be explained? And the emperor questioned it. The patriarch's curt reply left the emperor feeling as if he had been splashed with a cold bucket of water, and the patriarch silently crossed the river to Wei, going straight to Mount Shaoxi without a word. In the Middle Period, Mahayana Buddhism introduced the Tathagatagarbha, embryonic Buddha doctrine, followed by the Yogacara, consciousness-only school founded by Asanga and his brother Vasubandhu. This school used the idealistic perspective to explain the abstract, metaphysical, spiritual world. Therefore, when Mahayana thought entered China, the Chinese accepted all these streams as Buddha's teachings without investigating their origins. As they delved deeper into the philosophy, literature, and scriptures, they became more confused, unable to distinguish the path, the truth, the means, or the goal, often mistaking the means for the end, clinging tightly to the scriptures. At the point of utter confusion, Bodhidharma appeared as a savior with his four-line verse, a special transmission outside the scriptures, not relying on words or letters, directly pointing to the human mind, seeing one's nature to become a Buddha. Thus, Zen began to gain fame with the method of sudden enlightenment. One could say that Chinese Buddhism transitioned from rigidly adhering to scriptures and elaborate chanting, clinging to existence, to an extreme of not needing scriptures, clinging to non-existence. Buddha once preached tirelessly for 45 years to guide sentient beings, yet Zen Buddhism discarded the scriptures. Another irony is that Buddha meditated for 49 days and nights to attain enlightenment and continued meditating daily and nightly after enlightenment. Yet the Zen patriarchs vehemently rejected seated meditation, advocating one thought not arising as the essence of sitting and clearly seeing one's true nature as the essence of Zen. Regarding seated meditation or samadhi, the sixth patriarch taught, for seated meditation, regarding external circumstances, if the mind does not arise, it is called sitting, Zuo. Internally, if one sees their true nature without moving, it is called Zen. Regarding samadhi, externally, if one leaves all forms, appearances, it is called Zen. Internally, if the mind does not become agitated, disturbed, it is called samadhi. Dao Yi, a monk who diligently practiced seated meditation daily, was asked by Huairong, "Why do you practice seated meditation?" Dao Yi replied, "I practice seated meditation to become a Buddha." Huairong picked up a brick and started polishing it on a stone in front of the hut. Dao Yi, puzzled, asked, "What are you polishing the brick for?" Huairong replied, "I am polishing it to make a mirror." How can polishing a brick make a mirror? Sitting in meditation also won't make you a Buddha. Then what is the correct way? If an ox pulls a cart and the cart doesn't move, do you whip the cart or the ox? Dao Yi was speechless. Huairong continued, "Are you practicing to sit Zen or to become a Buddha? If you practice to sit Zen, Zen is not about sitting or lying down. If you practice to become a Buddha, the Buddha has no form, no abode, no grasping, no rejection. If you sit to become a Buddha, you are killing the Buddha. If you cling to the form of sitting, you cannot attain it." Yet, Buddha attained enlightenment through seated meditation under the Bodhi tree, and before entering nirvana, he also entered various levels of samadhi from lower to higher and from higher to lower before passing away peacefully. The Blessed One entered the first jhana. After exiting the first jhana, he entered the second jhana. After exiting the second jhana, he entered the third jhana. After exiting the third jhana, he entered the fourth jhana. After exiting the fourth jhana, he entered the realm of infinite space. After exiting the realm of infinite space, he entered the realm of infinite consciousness. After exiting the realm of infinite consciousness, he entered the realm of nothingness. After exiting the realm of nothingness, he entered the realm of neither perception nor non-perception. After exiting the realm of neither perception nor non-perception, he entered the cessation of perception and feeling. At that time, Venerable Ananda said to Venerable Anuruddha, "Venerable Anuruddha, the Blessed One has passed away. Venerable Ananda, the Blessed One has not yet passed away. He has just entered the cessation of perception and feeling." Ananda did not know this because he had not yet attained the holy fruit. Then, after exiting the cessation of perception and feeling, he entered the realm of neither perception nor non-perception. After exiting the realm of neither perception nor non-perception, he entered the realm of nothingness. After exiting the realm of nothingness, he entered the realm of infinite consciousness. After exiting the realm of infinite consciousness, he entered the realm of infinite space. After exiting the realm of infinite space, he entered the fourth jhana. After exiting the fourth jhana, he entered the third jhana. After exiting the third jhana, he entered the second jhana. After exiting the second jhana, he entered the first jhana. After exiting the first jhana, he entered the second jhana. After exiting the second jhana, he entered the third jhana. After exiting the third jhana, he entered the fourth jhana. After exiting the fourth jhana, he immediately passed away. By deeply entering samadhi, wisdom arises, enabling practitioners to eliminate all defilements and escape the cycle of birth and death. Samadhi is energy and power, and wisdom is the catalyst to open the eye of the mind and realize the truth. Without wisdom, practitioners can only experience superficial, transient states that are of no benefit and can become obstacles if they cling to them. Thus, the practice of the sixth patriarch Huineng is summarized as: non-thought is the doctrine, formlessness is the essence, and non-abiding is the foundation. What is meant by non-thought as the doctrine? In the Platform Sutra, the sixth patriarch taught, "Good and wise friends, when the mind is not attached to any external circumstances, it is called non-thought. In the midst of thoughts, one is always free from thoughts, not arising thoughts based on circumstances. This is called non-thought. If one ceases all thinking, leading to the cessation of thoughts, one will perish and be reborn elsewhere, which is a great error. Practitioners of the way should examine this carefully. If one does not understand the meaning of the true Dharma, self-deception is bad enough, but encouraging others to follow is even worse, leading to slander of the Buddhist teachings. Therefore, non-thought is established as the doctrine." In this part, the sixth patriarch explains that non-thought means not generating thoughts about thoughts, and not letting the mind be stained by external circumstances. His intention is that when faced with worldly defilements, one should keep the mind from attachment, not giving rise to thoughts of greed, anger, or delusion, seeing all things as they are without seeing them. The same applies to hearing, tasting, smelling, and knowing. Hence, the non-thought the sixth patriarch refers to is indeed right mindfulness. Good and wise friends, what is meant by non and thought? Non refers to non-dualistic views, opposing concepts, non-attachment to all defiling thoughts. Thought refers to contemplating the true nature. True nature is the essence of thought, and thought is the function of true nature. True nature, being inherent, generates thoughts not from the senses but from its own nature. True nature has inherent nature, so it generates thoughts. If true nature had no inherent nature, the senses and forms would cease to exist. Good and wise friends, true nature inherently generates thoughts. Though the six senses perceive, they are not stained by myriad circumstances, and the true nature remains unbound, hence the saying, skillfully distinguishing the characteristics of phenomena, while in the ultimate meaning, one remains unmoved. This passage returns to the true suchness nature. Mahayana Buddhism views all dharmas as comprising substance, form, and function. Substance is also known as essence, the true nature. Form is the outer appearance, and function is its use. For example, the calm water deep in the ocean is the pure essence of water. The form is seawater, and the function is the rolling waves. Although people differentiate between substance, form, and function, In reality, they are one and the same, inseparable. This means there can be no waves without water, and the stillness deep in the ocean cannot exist without water. The sixth patriarch equates substance and form as one. Thus, he only mentions substance and function. He compares substance to a lamp and function to the light of the lamp because phenomena and essence are one, as stated in the Heart Sutra. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Here, phenomena refer to function, while essence refers to substance. What does formlessness as the essence mean? The sixth patriarch further explains, good and wise friends, separating from all forms is called formlessness. Separation from forms makes the essence of the Dharma pure, thus formlessness is taken as the essence. The phenomenal world is the material world, tangible and with form, but here the sixth patriarch teaches that if we do not cling to these forms, we will truly live with our inherently pure essence. What does non-abiding as the foundation mean? The sixth patriarch teaches, non-abiding is the nature of human beings in relation to all things, good or bad, friend or foe, even when slandered or belittled. All should be considered as nothing, not thinking of revenge, with each thought not concerning external circumstances. If previous, current, and future thoughts continually cling to circumstances, it is called bondage. Conversely, regarding all dharmas, if each thought does not abide, it is called non-bondage. Thus, non-abiding is taken as the foundation. Non-abiding means the mind does not cling to anything. That is, the six senses do not cling to the six objects. This is to view all dharmas as impermanent and non-self from the perspective of right view and right thought. As the Diamond Sutra says, one should produce a mind that does not abide in anything, meaning if the mind abides, it can never see the truth. Therefore, the entire practice of the sixth patriarch Huineng is based on right mindfulness, right view, and right thought. However, he did not practice seated meditation or enter the states of meditation. Thus, he did not practice concentration and insight meditation. Buddha and his great disciples clearly demonstrated that one must deeply enter the states of meditation and attain the cessation of perception and feeling to eliminate all defilements, attain the three knowledges, become an arahant, and transcend birth and death. Thus, no one in human history has become an arahant or Buddha without following Buddha's exact method. In the Platform Sutra, there is a story where Huiming chased after the sixth patriarch to reclaim the robe and bowl. When Huiming arrived to seize the robe and bowl but could not move them from the rock, he was frightened. At that moment, the sixth patriarch said to him, "Calm your mind and listen to the Dharma. Do not give rise to a single thought." Then the sixth patriarch continued, "Do not think of good, do not think of evil." Here, the sixth patriarch directly pointed to the human mind, meaning he pointed directly to Huiming's mind. Then the sixth patriarch continued, "What is the original face of Venerable Ming?" At this point, the sixth patriarch directly pointed to the true mind because he was speaking directly about the pure Buddha nature of Venerable Ming. Thus, depending on the expedient means and capacities of sentient beings, Zen masters use either directly pointing to the human mind or directly pointing to the true mind. Why did the patriarch say, not establishing words? It means not being dependent on the words of the scriptures. Yet he brought the Lankavatara Sutra with him to China to pass on to his disciples. The patriarch's intention was to break the mistaken belief that understanding the scriptures equates to enlightenment, which is like mistaking the finger pointing at the moon for the moon itself. Transmitting outside the teachings is to enlighten people that the moon is not the finger. This is the Mahayana view, that scriptures are just a raft. As long as people cling to the raft, they will never reach the other shore, which is enlightenment. Thus, the patriarch said not to cling to the scriptures, but to look directly into one's mind to see one's true nature and attain enlightenment. Without turning inward, one cannot distinguish delusion from the true mind. This is illustrated at the beginning of the Sarangama Sutra, when Buddha asked Ananda 7 times about the location of the mind, indicating that the mind is delusion, while the true nature is the inherently pure essence within each person. The true nature is explained in the latter part of the Sarangama Sutra, where Buddha clarifies the true nature, the Tathagata Garbha essence. Realizing and living with this true nature, sentient beings will see their nature and become Buddha. However, seeing the nature is the seed of Buddha, but to reach the fruit of Buddha, practitioners must diligently practice right mindfulness to eliminate delusions and practice right concentration until fully living with the ever-bright true nature, thus achieving enlightenment. In Buddhism, only enlightenment can free one from the cycle of birth and death, while the sudden enlightenment of Zen masters is merely right view, the first part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Why did Bodhidharma say outside the teachings? Buddhism has two methods, within the teachings and outside the teachings. Using language to transmit the teachings within the framework of Indian Buddhism is called the method within the teachings. Abandoning language and directly transmitting the Buddha mind to imprint it on another's mind is called the method outside the teachings, known in Zen as transmitting the mind seal. Therefore, Zen is the method outside the teachings. After the encounter with Emperor Wu of Liang, who the Patriarch hoped would help spread Buddhism in China, but seeing that the emperor's capacity was limited and his faith was superficial, Bodhidharma left for Shaolin Monastery in Zhongshan, where he meditated facing a wall for 9 years before passing the seal to the second Patriarch of Zen in China, Huike. Huike passed it to the third Patriarch Zenkan, who passed it to the fourth Patriarch Daoshin, and then to the fifth Patriarch Hongren, who finally transmitted it to the sixth Patriarch Huineng. Since Patriarchal Zen does not rely on language but directly points to the mind, using the mind seal to teach disciples, over time, methods like hitting, shouting, or other expedient means have been lost. Today, Zen practitioners seeking to study koans, huadu, or find someone to hit or shout at them for enlightenment is nearly non-existent. Koans, huadu, hitting, and shouting are skillful means Zen masters use depending on the person, applying the right medicine for the right ailment. Therefore, there are many stories about Zen masters' enlightenment, with no two stories alike. Once Patriarch Linji said, "The one without rank lives right before your eyes, going in and out of the face gates. Whoever hasn't seen this, discover it now." A monk asked, "Who is the one without rank?" Linji stepped down, grabbed the monk by the collar, and shouted, "Speak, speak." The monk stood there, dumbfounded, so Linji slapped him, saying, "The one without rank is useless." Thus, no method, however mystical, can be applied to everyone. The Patriarchs did not leave any specific method of practice because it would contradict not establishing words. Therefore, Zen gradually disappeared over time along with the Patriarchs. Let's consider the Enlightenment story of Master Deshin as an example. Master Deshin, who was well versed in the scriptures, heard that the southern Zen was flourishing, so he indignantly said, "For countless eons, monks have cultivated the dignified conduct of the Buddha without becoming Buddha. How dare these demons in the south claim directly pointing to the mind, seeing one's nature to become Buddha? I must uproot them and repay Buddha's kindness." He packed his belongings and set off, carrying the Qinglong commentary. On his way, he met an old woman selling cakes and asked her for some cakes as alms. Before giving him the cakes, the old woman asked, "What sutra do you usually lecture on?" "The Diamond Sutra." The old woman said, "I will ask you one question. If you can answer it, I will offer you the cakes. If you cannot, please go elsewhere." Deshin agreed. The old woman asked, "The Diamond Sutra says, past mind is unobtainable, present mind is unobtainable, future mind is unobtainable. So which mind are you using to take the cakes?" Deshin could not answer, so he continued on his journey to Longtan. Upon arriving at Longtan, Deshin said, "I have long heard of Longtan, but arriving here I see neither a pond nor a dragon." Longtan replied, "You are close to the pond." Deshin could not respond and stayed there. One night as Deshin was attending to Longtan said, "It is late. Why don't you retire?" Deshin bowed and went out but returned saying, "It is pitch dark outside." Longtan lit a candle and handed it to Deshin. As Deshin was about to take it, Longtan blew it out. At that moment, Deshin was greatly enlightened and bowed in reverence. Longtan asked, "What have you seen?" Deshin replied, "From now on I will have no more doubts about sudden enlightenment." So what did Master Deshin realize? The master said, "It is dark outside," implying that his mind was clouded, not knowing how to realize his true nature. When the master lamented the darkness, Sun Tsin gave him a lamp. But why did Sun Tzu blow it out as soon as the master held it? When the mind is dark, even a lamp cannot illuminate it. Thus, Sun Tzu blew out the lamp to remind the master that the light, representing wisdom, must arise from within oneself and cannot be given by others. Understanding this, the master became greatly enlightened. Hence, this great enlightenment is only the initial insight or hearing, the first step in the process of hearing, thinking, and practicing, the seed of Buddha. Only when one eradicates the roots of greed, anger, and delusion will one achieve complete enlightenment and attain Buddhahood. Today, Zen practitioners often memorize the verses and poems of the Patriarchs, which is like chewing the leftovers of others without any result. The deeper meaning of the Patriarchs is that the medicine depends on the disease, so not everyone can use the same prescription. This also shows that following the wrong path of Patriarchal Zen, which is not establishing words and directly pointing to the human mind, is not effective. A monk asked Xuanxia, when the ancient masters taught the Dharma without words using the stick or the whisk, were they showing the ultimate truth of Zen? Xuanxia replied, no. The monk asked again, then what were they showing? Xuanxia lifted the whisk. The monk asked, what is the ultimate truth of Zen? Xuanxia replied, wait until you have awakened. Therefore nowadays, Patriarchal Zen has nearly disappeared, even though some Zen masters try to revive and spread it. Expecting to attain sudden enlightenment without shouting or hitting is an illusion. Why? Because Zen must be practiced. One must personally experience and thoroughly understand the workings of the mind to hope to see one's true nature. But why shouting and hitting? According to Mahayana Buddhism, the true mind and true nature are absolute truths, indescribable and inconceivable. So practitioners must turn inward to recognize, directly point to, that true nature. Prime Minister Vu Dich asked Master Dao Tong, what is Buddha? The master asked back, great sir. Yes, replied the Prime Minister, somewhat innocently. Then the master said, what else are you looking for? Even the question of what Buddha is cannot be explained because if explained according to Theravada Buddhism, Buddha is the liberated and enlightened one. But here, Mahayana Buddhism is entangled in the absolute nature, so it cannot be described. The reason is that Buddha now is not the historical Shakyamuni Buddha but the true nature, formless and shapeless, the fundamental non-existence as the sixth patriarch said. So how can it be described? Today, there are Zen masters, but no one is enlightened. Thus, looking for an enlightened person to shout or hit for sudden enlightenment is like searching for a needle in a haystack. A monk asked Huayan, how does an enlightened person return to the deluded world? The master replied, a broken mirror does not reflect, fallen flowers do not return to the branch. Thus, if one is not enlightened and does not know the path of sudden enlightenment, even if one hits a disciple until their head is bruised, they will not achieve sudden enlightenment. Therefore, enlightenment or realization, which is seeing one's nature according to Zen, is only the first step in the process of Buddhist practice. Hence, the Lotus Sutra confirms that opening, showing, awakening, and entering the Buddha's knowledge and vision means after awakening, one must diligently continue practicing until entering, meaning one must practice to truly realize. Therefore, sudden enlightenment or seeing one's nature is very difficult, but it is only right view in the Noble Eightfold Path. To deeply enter means to practice right mindfulness and right concentration until complete realization, achieving liberation from birth and death. So where does Zen originate from? Zen was founded and transmitted by the Patriarchs. Hence it is called Patriarchal Zen or the Supreme Vehicle Zen, which means sudden enlightenment. The method of building Zen by the Patriarchs was based on the thoughts and lifestyles of the Chinese people. The term sudden enlightenment makes people misunderstand that practicing this Zen method will quickly lead to enlightenment because it is said practice for one lifetime, enlighten in a moment, or practice for 10,000 lifetimes, enlighten in a moment. In contrast, the four foundations of mindfulness meditation was founded by Shakyamuni Buddha over 2,500 years ago, so it is called Tathagata Zen, the oldest meditation school in Buddhism. This practice focuses on body, feelings, mind, and dharmas for contemplation. Practitioners recognize all sensations and movements in the body and mind, maintaining balanced awareness to eradicate greed, anger, and delusion, attaining liberation and enlightenment. The Four Foundations of Mindfulness is a meditation practice that Buddha practiced to become enlightened, and all his disciples followed it to attain arahantship, the fruit of non-birth. This meditation has been transmitted to many neighboring countries through the ups and downs of Buddhism in India, with Myanmar being the country that has preserved this practice most meticulously through successive generations of meditation masters. In the Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha taught, "Monks, this is the only way for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the ending of pain and grief, for the attainment of the true way, for the realization of nibbana, that is the Four Foundations of Mindfulness." Thus, the Four Foundations of Mindfulness meditation is a method of practice that helps practitioners attain liberation in this very life. This method was practiced by Buddha and all his disciples, leading to liberation and enlightenment. Therefore, anyone who does not practice according to the Four Foundations of Mindfulness is not following the path of liberation that Buddha taught. Today, whether practicing Mahayana or Theravada Buddhism, if one does not practice the Four Foundations of Mindfulness, they lose the foundation for progressing towards the liberation and enlightenment of Buddha. For Mahayana Buddhism, the Lotus Sutra is the king of sutras, and the Prajnaparamita is the wisdom of the Buddhas of the three times. Even the Avatamsaka and the Mahaparinirvana Sutras are extensions of the Four Foundations of Mindfulness Sutra. It can be said that all the profound Mahayana scriptures we have today are like branches, leaves, and flowers, while the trunk is the Four Foundations of Mindfulness Sutra. Mahayana scriptures are like branches and flowers on a tree, but the most important part, often overlooked, is the trunk, the life force of the tree. Over time, people have considered Mahayana scriptures as superior, but they forget that the beautiful flowers on the branches and green leaves are all nurtured by the trunk. Therefore, the Four Foundations of Mindfulness Sutra is the trunk, often forgotten while people admire the beauty of the branches and flowers. That is why today, Mahayana practitioners only know the branches, leaves, and flowers but forget the trunk, the main part, the life force of the tree. In other words, today, people think that Mahayana scriptures are superior and wonderful, so few pay attention to and practice the Four Foundations of Mindfulness anymore. However, if practitioners truly want to follow Buddha's path to liberation and enlightenment without concerning themselves with abstract metaphysical philosophies, the Four Foundations of Mindfulness is the only path to fulfill their vow. Although the Four Foundations of Mindfulness meditation is the only way leading practitioners to liberation and enlightenment, after Buddha's parinirvana, this meditation practice gradually became forgotten. As a result, over time there were almost no enlightened individuals, not sudden enlightenment, but complete enlightenment. Since the emergence of Zen in China, Vietnam, and Japan, the Four Foundations of Mindfulness meditation has been further neglected. However, today, Buddhist disciples have many means to research and trace the original teachings, so this meditation practice is beginning to flourish again and is no longer unfamiliar to Vietnamese Buddhists. In reality, Patriarchal Zen is nothing new because the Patriarchs only transformed and applied Tathagata Zen, that is, the Four Foundations of Mindfulness meditation, from a different perspective. Otherwise, Patriarchal Zen would be an external path. But if not practiced correctly and only modified, it is still an external path, not the pure Zen established by Buddha. This involves contemplating the activities of the Four Foundations, contemplation of body, feelings, mind, and dharmas. For example, Zen masters often say that cooking rice and carrying firewood are Zen, meaning that in every movement of the body, such as walking, standing, lying, and sitting, one maintains mindfulness, not letting the mind follow delusions, which is contemplating dharmas. Zen masters hitting and shouting at their disciples to wake them up and turn inward is contemplating feelings. When Bodhidharma told Huike to bring out his mind so he could pacify it, Huike then returned to search for his mind, which is contemplating the mind. Hearing the sound of water flowing, seeing flowers blooming, and recognizing one's true nature is contemplating dharmas. Although Zen masters say, when hungry, eat, when tired, sleep. For them, eating when hungry and sleeping when tired without calculation or demand means not following delusions, which is contemplating the body. Zen masters practicing eating when hungry, sleeping when tired, seem very free, but in reality they are still enslaved by the ego, as they must satisfy the body's desires. If the body demands food, it must be fed. If the body wants to sleep, it must be allowed to sleep. In the past, Buddha ate only one meal a day, not eating whenever hungry. Eating in such a way breaks the precepts. True peace and freedom are achieved only when practitioners completely master their body and mind. The story of eating when hungry, sleeping when tired, is based on the discussion of the layman Panyun's family in China. In a discussion about the process of practice and realization of the Dharma between him, his wife, and their daughter, he said, "Hard, hard, hard. It's like trying to spread 10 bushels of sesame seeds evenly over a tree." Hearing her husband lament the difficulty, his wife responded, "Easy, easy, easy. The patriarch's meaning is in the tips of 100 blades of grass. Everything is prajna, green bamboo, yellow flowers." She meant that everything seen by our eyes is the patriarch's meaning, and everything grasped by our hands is the wondrous Dharma. Their daughter Lingzhao then exclaimed, "It is neither hard nor easy. When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep." Ultimately, Patriarchal Zen only applies a few specific aspects of the 4 foundations of mindfulness to help practitioners achieve sudden enlightenment. However, this sudden enlightenment is not thorough because in the past, Buddha and his disciples practiced knowing or wisdom of everything, from contemplating feelings, the body, dharmas, to the mind, to thoroughly and clearly understand each moment's activities of the whole body, not just knowing the mind or dharmas alone. Unlike Patriarchal Zen, which is not established on words but points directly to the human mind, the method of Patriarchal Zen is highly secretive, resulting in very few achieving sudden enlightenment. In contrast, Tathagata Zen, or the 4 foundations of mindfulness meditation, is explained by Buddha in a detailed, clear, step-by-step manner, akin to a map or a GPS device, so anyone can practice it. Therefore, during Buddha's time, thousands and tens of thousands of people attained enlightenment through this meditation method silently and calmly, without any need for shouting, hitting, or head-breaking. Unlike Patriarchal Zen, which at best achieves seeing one's nature, a preliminary stage akin to the seat of Buddha, Tathagata Zen leads practitioners directly to liberation and enlightenment in this very life if practiced correctly. Saying "in this very life" is a general statement, but the 4 Foundations of Mindfulness Sutra confirms that if a practitioner earnestly contemplates the body, feelings, dharmas, and the mind to see them as they truly are, they can attain enlightenment in an instant. Therefore, in the past, Buddha taught meditation based on the 4 foundations of mindfulness, by relaxing all physical and mental states, not by concentration. When the body and mind are light and open, only then can the practitioner enter meditation and concentration. If the practitioner is still attached, even practicing meditation, they will never attain concentration. When the body is open, the body and space will no longer be 2 separate entities, but will become one. At that point, breathing will become very long, and the practitioner will feel as if there is no place for the breath to go in and out, with the breath becoming as thin as a thread. At this moment, the mind starts to cease its fluctuations. The heartbeat will slow down because slow breathing results in a slower heartbeat. At this point, the practitioner begins to enter concentration, and the whole body becomes completely open. Thus, contemplation is not concentration to shine back on the body, but is now understood as the reflection of a mirror. It is pure, clear, light, and effortless reflection, not concentration. In the 4 Foundations of Mindfulness Sutra, Buddha clearly teaches that when we breathe in, we should know we are breathing in, and when we breathe out, we should know we are breathing out. Zen leans towards theory, talk, although the patriarchs say, not established on words, whereas the 4 Foundations of Mindfulness Meditation does not involve high theories, but yields transcendental results because it leans towards practice. Only through practice can there be true realization to escape birth and death. Buddha did not want sentient beings to become patriarchs. Seeing one's nature does not escape birth and death because it has not eradicated delusion, meaning it still has defilements. Therefore, the 4 Foundations of Mindfulness is affirmed by Buddha as the only path to liberation and enlightenment. The ultimate goal of 4 Foundations of Mindfulness Meditation is to gradually lead practitioners into the stages of wisdom meditation, ultimately illuminating the realization that this body is not me nor mine. Feelings of pleasure and pain have nothing to do with me. The mind observing these is not my soul. And all objects of the mind, such as consciousness and mental formations, are not mine. Thus, when one truly and clearly realizes that there is no I or mine within oneself, the practitioner will discover the unique and wonderful truth, the essence of Buddhism, which Buddha himself realized under the Bodhi tree, the truth of non-self. Hence, the 4 Foundations of Mindfulness Meditation leads practitioners to true knowledge, wisdom, by contemplating the body in the body, feelings in feelings, the mind in the mind, and dharmas in dharmas, to see the body, feelings, mind, and dharmas as they truly are. If practitioners diligently practice this day and night without attachment to greed, anger, or delusion, they will have a truly peaceful, joyful, and liberated mind. At this point, the practitioner thoroughly comprehends the true nature of all phenomena, fully understanding the true nature of the 5 aggregates, and no longer clings to or attaches to anything in the world. In the past, Buddha did not focus on theoretical discourse, did not chase after consciousness, and did not need to discuss metaphysical topics. His aspiration was to find the path to liberation. Thus, all of Buddha's teachings described simple, easy-to-understand methods that go straight to the point to help his disciples practice and realize. The essence of Buddha's teachings is the 4 Noble Truths, with the Noble Eightfold Path being the 8 branches that lead practitioners from the ordinary to the noble, with the 4 Foundations of Mindfulness being the 7th branch, right mindfulness. People usually perceive phenomena through conceptual knowledge or consciousness, meaning through memory or learned knowledge, mostly borrowed from outside sources, seeing only conceptual meaning or names, which are often illusions, not reality. However, the object of wisdom meditation in the form of insight and mindfulness is the true nature of phenomena. Therefore, no practitioner in this world from the time Buddha attained enlightenment until now, wanting to reach the ultimate goal of liberation and enlightenment, has done so without practicing the 4 Foundations of Mindfulness Meditation. In summary, the Chinese believed that the meditation discovered by Buddha was still inferior, so they introduced a new school of meditation called Zen, or the Supreme Vehicle Zen. Instead of following Buddha's path of liberation based on the process of morality, concentration, wisdom to attain liberation, they relied on koans and huatou practiced by schools like Yunmen, Guiyang, Linji, and Chaodong. The Patriarchs presented koans for Zen students to think about and solve for enlightenment. If they knew little, they had small enlightenment. If they understood more, they had great enlightenment. The significant difference here is that Buddha wanted sentient beings to gradually eliminate greed, anger, and delusion, so the mind could be peaceful and enter concentration. In contrast, Zen presents subjects to think about, leading to intense mental effort, but without reducing greed, anger, and delusion. What is the use of enlightenment? Since the inception of Buddhism until now, no one in the world has dared to claim that their meditation or liberation ability is higher than Buddha's. Yet, the Chinese dare to assert that their Zen or Zen Buddhism is superior to the meditation discovered by Buddha, calling it the Supreme Vehicle Zen. Since Bodhidharma entered China, has anyone become a Buddha through this Supreme Zen method? Instead of teaching students to live within the framework of humanistic ethics, gradually eliminating greed, anger, and delusion, Zen students must mentally exhaust themselves with koans. What good is great enlightenment? Does it reduce greed, anger, and delusion? Does it teach living a virtuous life? Or do they continue to compete like the Chinese patriarchs? Buddha's meditation relaxes the mind and gradually leads it to peace and concentration for happiness. Conversely, Patriarchal Zen suppresses the mind, making meditation increasingly uncomfortable and restricting. That is why in the past, the 6th Patriarch and his disciples did not practice seated meditation, and he did not allow his disciples to practice it. In a narrow sense, Zen Buddhism neither has nor accepts any doctrine, as any expression in the form of words can become an obstacle for practitioners. However, from a broader perspective, this view of not establishing words, can be seen as a distinctive doctrine of Zen itself. Understood this way, the doctrine of Zen Buddhism is to use all teachings merely as tools to aid in practice to achieve enlightenment, while practitioners must remember not to be attached to these tools. When Bodhidharma crossed the sea to China to establish Zen Buddhism, he brought the Lankavatara Sutra with him and later passed it on to the second patriarch, Huiki. The sixth patriarch, Huineng, attained enlightenment upon hearing the Diamond Sutra. Therefore, Zen Buddhism often refers to these two sutras as the foundation of Zen teachings. Based on these foundational teachings, combined with the enlightenment experiences of the patriarchs, many texts have been written and circulated within the Zen tradition to help students understand the principles and methods of practice. Among these, two texts are considered the most important. The first is the record of the transmission of the lamp, which records the teachings of Bodhidharma. The second is the Platform Sutra of the sixth patriarch, which records the teachings of Huineng. Additionally, there are many collections of sayings, such as the Blue Cliff Record and the Gateless Gate, which record the verses and commentaries of Zen masters and are often seen as crucial hints for practitioners, aiding them in reaching enlightenment more easily. However, the most important doctrine of Zen remains the focus on self-cultivation and self-realization, without accepting any guidance or instruction from others, even if they are teachers. All teachings can only be seen as suggestions, and the practice to achieve enlightenment must be found and practiced by each individual themselves. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with those who might benefit from it. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, hit the like button, follow, and turn on the notification bell. This is how you can show your support for me. Once again, thank you very much, and see you in the next videos.